Hey guys, this is Michael English from streamlinemylawfirm.com, Chartered Consulting, to give you a quick walkthrough of my own personal review and opinion on Lawmatics. So, Lawmatics is one of the many practice management softwares or CRMs that I regularly build in for clients, and I thought it might be beneficial for me to just do my own kind of general stance on what it looks like, and see if it might be a good fit for your firm. So when you first log into Lawmatics, you have your dashboard, which allows you to make some, what they call quick actions. Just to, if you need to add a new contact, you're on the phone with somebody, or even a new matter, set appointment times, whatever it is, and then also give you, some reporting, some general reporting to go over what is happening in your firm, just kind of give you a broad overview, as well as any matters I haven't had any movement in a while. So it's keeping track of, when the last time somebody was communicated with on a matter, which is a huge benefit to make sure that people are not falling through the cracks, as well as new matters. um, Going down the line on this little tab here, you have here is your just a general list of all matters, and you can sort them out by PNCs, which is potential new clients, hired or lost, which is people that just did not move forward with you. Qualify AI, that's brand new. I'm waiting to do a walkthrough with Lawmatics on that. And so once I've had a chance to look at that, I'll of course have another video on Qualify AI. Pipeline is one of the big benefits of utilizing Lawmatics. Pipelines, or what some people call a Kanban board, is probably a more commonly known name for it. But it's an opportunity for you to track all your leads or even matters across different stages of a process. So each one is a stage. It represents, a single point in the process that a PNC or hired matter might be in within the overall process. So, here's where a new lead would come in if they just kind of reached out on your website on a contact me page or something. And then maybe they haven't set up a consultation, and so they sit here in the follow-up stage, and maybe they're receiving follow-up emails. And then, intake, you send them an intake form, and it shows you that everybody in here is waiting on an intake form to be completed. Now, the big feature that is Lawmatics' claim to fame is their automations. So the automations I find are very easy to build out, extremely straightforward. Basically what you see is what you get. There's really no finagling to make this or that work. It's very much worded so that the general population can really understand what's happening here. It doesn't feel like you're, coding a bunch of things. If you take some time, you can figure this out basically. It's just a matter of not. It's not a matter of not understanding how the automations work so much as it is about understanding what the potential is for the automations. So the big benefit with Lawmatics automations is the dual trigger feature, which is basically you can have, before an automation fires off, you can have make sure it meets two conditions. So maybe you want something like somebody signs a document, and at the same time they make a payment, right? So that great example of that would be, okay, they signed their engagement letter and they've paid their invoice, okay, and then because of that we want them to convert to a matter, okay. So something as simple as that. So it's no longer a PNC, then it's a matter. And then another great benefit is that you also have logic conditioning. That's the add if condition. So basically, if this, then that. So you can have multiple conditions inside of a singular automation. Now, the next thing down the list here is your marketing. So over here, you can have all your email templates that you've designed Okay, so these are as many as you can think of. And then when you're building out these templates, you also have a lot of opportunity to be able to set, not only where you're going to be using it, but you can also utilize all the fields, not just the default fields that exist in Lawmatics, but as well as the fields that you create. So you can capture, anything in here. Okay, and then plug those into that. So it's very versatile in that regards. Audiences, this is a great opportunity for you to prep for campaigns, which we'll cover next. Now, again, I'm not a huge my business is not huge on marketing. I'm not a marketing expert, more of just like a lead onboarding and matter management process expert. But, to cover this as best as I can, you can set different audiences. Maybe this is the one audience is like for everybody you've completed a project for, or maybe all new leads that have signed on up with you within the last 24 hours or something like that. And you can bundle them all up inside that audience, and then they auto add into that audience, and so that you don't have to worry about making sure they're in the right audience group. So you can set those rules for who falls inside that specific audience. And then you can have different campaigns. And then those campaigns, like email campaigns, you can attach it to a specific audience that you created. So if you have an email campaign going on and you want it targeting all clients that you've completed an estate plan for, that's a great opportunity to set up a new marketing campaign. Okay, event management, of course, this is just if you're kind of setting up like webinars and stuff, so you can be able to manage those types of things here too. People, this is just contacts, companies, conflict checks that you've run, and conflict checks are another big thing. You can set all the different things that you want whenever a new matter gets searched, or you can have it search a specific matter, and you can run all the different types of, you can check a variety of different measures. So you can have even an automation that goes in when somebody gets created. It runs a conflict check and checks different fields inside. So everybody with the last name English, or anybody related to English, things like that. Docs and forms, another very great versatile opportunity for you to really maximize and streamline your operations here. So here you can generate your engagement letters, set up e-sign agreements. You can do it in several different ways. You can either upload a PDF, a docx, a Word doc, or start fresh. This is one of my favorite ways to build these documents, just because it's so much easier to utilize the custom fields and merge fields from the Start Fresh feature. For upload docx, if you're wanting to utilize the custom fields, you'll have to add them to your document before, let me get back out of this, before you actually upload it here. And so the docx's are a little bit harder to use just because you're having to utilize the, there it is, docx field reference. So you'll have to copy and paste these merge fields into the Word document and then upload it into Lawmatics. So it has the same functionality, but as creating it from in here, but it's just a little bit harder to do. Starting fresh, again, this is the easy way to do it. You can add a block here, and then you can just add in all the different fields very easily to do that. So it's so much simpler. Then you can add a firm signer, and then you can add multiple signers, things like that. And then you just attach them in here, okay? And then another thing too is that if I want to add a separate text block that I want to apply only if it's this a certain type of practice area. Okay, so I want this language applied if it's this situation. You can actually say, okay, this stuff, this is the language I want to insert into this document, and then I can add a logic conditioning. Okay. So maybe I want it only for this city. So, whatever city it is. Okay, so I want that for anybody that's in that city. I want this language entered into this document. Okay, so docx is very, very awesome for that. Custom forms. I love custom forms. Very easy to build these out. It's a click and drag function. Okay, you drag whatever fields. Your fields are over here. And then what's great too is that the field will disappear over here once it's added into this document. Okay. And then for your custom fields, you can just add new ones as you go, as you can think of the questions, and then it creates it down here, and then you just click and drag it over again. Okay. So again, very easy to use that. And then you can also have a more advanced where you're doing file uploads as well, and those documents, whatever they upload here, will get added to the file, the client's file. Booking forms. So this is specific, like if you want to have them fill out a form for a specific event, you would just send them this over here. So this would be an opportunity for them to, very much like the custom forms, but again, it's specifically for booking an event type. Okay, so they'll fill out a form and then they'll schedule their appointment all on here. So also bonus, I can't show you here, but if you have LM Pay, you can make a requirement that somebody pays for something like a consultation. So if you have a $250 fee for every consult, you can add LM Pay here, where they will have to first pay a $250 invoice before they can actually sign up for the consult. Reporting. So of course, if you're looking to grow a law firm, this is probably one of the most important features that you can be able to have to understand if things are working the way you want them to. So this provides you a more in-depth report of what's going on in your firm, kind of the heartbeat of it, a heartbeat check, a lot more in-depth than what we get on the dashboard. So these are all of your analytics. They're, for the most part, pretty set in stone as to what you can view. You can, sort things like by appointment stats, like what type of appointment, stuff like that. There are some minor adjustments you can make here. But overall, this still gives you a pretty good view of what's going on in your firm. Custom reports. You can go as, you can customize this as much as you want. And then, okay, you can add whatever fields you want, logic conditioning, okay. And then once you've built out the report of everything that you want to track, oh, that name's already been taken. You can actually go over here, set up subscription. So you can set to have this report be emailed to you at whatever interval time you want. Daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. So if you want a weekly report of all new matters created within the last 24 hours or whatever, or last week, you can have a weekly report run on Monday at 12:45 p.m. ROI tracker. This is just an opportunity for you to be able to track, across where you're spending your ad revenue or your ad spend, and then how much revenue you're getting out of that. Time and billing, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Just be able to, where you create your new time entries. So this is if you're going back and creating a time entry. Otherwise, you have this little stopwatch clock up here where you can add your time entry to a specific matter. Expenses. How do I get out of this? Ooh. Okay. Expenses, again, just tracking, the firm expenses for each matter, invoicing, trust accounting, accounts receivable, hours billed, payment activity. So you can track just about anything you need. Calendaring. This is if you have a bunch of appointments set up, you'll see a bunch of all your appointments lined up here. Of course, you'll probably most likely be using whatever calendaring system you have set up on your email. Tasks, again, just to be able to ability to be able to run a report of all tasks that are currently outstanding or in progress. So unfortunately, you can't have a subscription of reporting for these tasks. Like I think it would be huge if Lawmatics would be able to set up subscriptions for tasks. Now let's open up a matter. So if I go into here, this is the view of the matter. What's great is you'll be able to see up here what stage they are in the pipeline. I love that. As well as all the activity going on in that matter. What's also great is that you can see what automations are actually interacting with this person. And then in that same regard, you'd be able to pause or restart an automation straight from here. So if you see this person's getting a bunch of follow-up emails and you want to stop that, you can do that. You can also see the last time somebody's reached out to this person. Okay, so last contacted. You can schedule appointments from here, add tasks. So details, this is where you can see all the custom fields or matter fields and contact fields in here, and what information you've collected from here, and then anything that's in their files, signed agreements, billing, okay, invoices, and from here you can create new invoices. All right, so creating new invoices is fairly easy. I can't really show you too much just because I don't have an invoicing system, set up on this. This is just my consultancy section, but over here is where you would just collect all the details on this and all the required information that you need, and then you submit it and can send it. So you can actually select who you want to send it from and who you want to send it. You can change the POC here, the point of contact that you want, receiving the bill, all that. All right. So that's Lawmatics in a nutshell. If you ever have any questions about your Lawmatics or you're considering Lawmatics, feel free to reach out to me. My email is michael@streamlinemylawfirm.com.